Today we broadcast the premier Open University course by MISS, the Massachusetts Institute for Strategic Studies, especially sciences that were making misses with an ES. A special institute within the MIT, Massachusetts Institute of Technology, tell Alan Guthart, MIT Physics and Biology and MacArthur Foundation past president, and of course the YouTube of Google, that Eric Schmidt has made a last-minute I will not die CEO, and yet it has been confirmed that Larry Page is taking over on April the 4th, as you will see in this YouTube broadcast in evidence. And of course, we help institute that by our Facebook challenges and our fast-track programs in Silicon Valley, CUWE Facebook challenges, as well as the Manhattan Projects at Columbia. And now the MISS Project. Massachusetts Institute for Strategic Studies, especially in sciences. Let's talk about Obama and Time Magazine cover article here today. And the fact of the matter is that the most important point is that we've been talking about how the White House won, Whitehouse2, and me and Posh and Bob Galucci and Trll legacy prizes. It's a Reaganite or Republican. It's two presidents of the White House. Clinton doing the secret negotiations with Congress, Capitol Hill, where he has promised not to violate any presidential rule, not to be involved in presidential political commentaries on living and sitting presidents especially, much less negotiate for Obama on many important tax cuts and health care plan issues. Time Magazine have finally covered what we have said for over a month now, that is Republican White House in autistic studies or lying studies about how culture South Democrat and why Obama lost Reagan. Take a look at it again by YouTube voters to see whether Whitehouse2 is more honest and more powerful intellect, and more cost-cut effective research in strategic studies from science and other things, why Obama loves Reagan. Now on other issues, the Massachusetts Institute of Strategic Studies, for especially sciences, a special strategic studies institute within the MIT, like the MacArthur Foundation Research Lab spin-off from last year's Trll Legacy Prize Fair, we can talk about Galucci, the MacArthur Foundation, Genius Foundation. The fact of the matter is that, if you take a look at in this issue of Time Magazine to remind you the role model versus the Reagan revelation. Okay, see that, guys? Now, the fact of the matter is that this is courtesy of Lincoln Center's Apple Store at 68th Street, where was.com.org, W-O-Z, the co-founder and engineer of Apple Computers, tell Steve Jobs and Tim Cook over there, that the fact of the matter is that his organization says everybody is welcome, especially those who contribute ideas versus contribute currencies. And of course, humanity is now ready for the 24th century to contribute ideas as currency to the stores versus currency to the stores that they will respect more. Now, that's why we have global warming and currency that supports values that kind of destroy the earth and self-destruct. That brings to Massachusetts Institute of Strategic Studies, especially sciences, that humanity is mostly a global warming agent of increasing entropy of thermodynamics. Not to reduce entropy, such as biofuels or genetic engineering or biofuels, such that you reduce entropy from nature's entropy or loss of energy as time progresses on. It shows you that nature's laws are not intelligent, because even human beings not so intelligent by now you might agree, they would improve on nature's plants and biofuels much more efficient than nature's natural form by genetic engineering, protein folding using these shows Anton supercomputing chips, and ExxonMobil research with a Berkeley PhD on CNN commercials. Now the fact of the matter is that Obama says that he's going to teach CUWE, Columbia University Electrical Engineering funding issues, about how to, with his alma mater, Columbia College, and Harvard Law School, how to out-educate, out-innovate, and out-produce them in ideas and supercomputing power, or he has not. Why Obama loves Reagan in a very different way, and a more subtle way. There's difference between Whitehouse2 and Whitehouse1. Who's the role model? Reagan, Obama, Clinton, or Whitehouse2? And the Trll Legacy Prize for 2011, this fall not to fail in CUWE funds, tell Charles Zukowski at WE, Department of Columbia University, MIT PhD. Now the fact of the matter is that humanity, who is not interested but throws apples and oranges, that me and other people, real scientists, will try to reduce the energy cost of doing the same task. It's biofuels and many other more sophisticated things besides using Facebook, or Google, YouTube people, is to increase intelligence, reduce waste, and not loiter energy. And those who throw oranges, pour my bathroom handle, Don't give me the CW funding and call me wasting store time at Starbucks or Apple stores or Washington Six. Always welcome, especially those whose ideas as currency for debate versus currency money for debate and respect. Obviously, people are not ready for ideas for the 24th century model of Star Trek Next Generation, where people do nothing but study to make themselves better, and materialism and currency are useless to them, moral ethics-wise as well as practical. And that's why they're loitering on intelligence land and gorilla land, because they're loitering energy by wasting energy and preventing people from actually finding more energy efficient and more effective Silicon Valley CEOs. And that's why Mr. Schmidt has left. And he had to say something because he didn't want us to get all the credit for it, but it's official, as the New York Times reported a week and a half ago. Larry Page, the product chief, Google will become the next CEO this April the 4th. Until Larry Page from Stanford dropped out PhD program in the CS department to work on server issues, and of course, Apple with Wozniak and Jobs and Tim Cook, and our server speeds, and of course, what else? Sprint has CEO of Sprint. The first 4G that Steve Jobs put this iPhone 4 on by Verizon. Now the fact of the matter is that Steve Jobs did not reward meritocracy of Sprint has. For the plot for Sprint, Mr. Hess, the CEO, should remember that in my email list. I'm for the truth there. And people are loitering on energy, loitering on intelligent tasks and intelligence real estate. And they call us Harvard, MIT people, and McCarthy Foundation speaking up for me, such as Columbia and Princeton call me loitering on their lands and campuses. It shows you there's not much different from people behind the cash counters, not much education at Starbucks or Apple Store. But for Apple not to follow Wozniak.org or woz.org, where everyone's welcome, it's unbelievable. While Lawrence Schreiber, Harvard Law Oxford Press book is no more wrong in saying that Americans in the world become more constitutionalist and compassionate. How can it be more constitutional and compassionate when Apple people don't even listen to his other co-founder, the real engineer, not the CEO, Steve Wozniak, to tell them, remind them again that it's free Wi-Fi and free airspace, and they just want to turn on and not let people use by Facebook. Now, the final point I wanted to say about these issues is that, of course, Mrs. Strategic Study, especially Sciences Institute. The fact of the matter is that IBM Jeopardy computer is the ultimate science computer. Science is about, we know the answers. We have the genes, we have the proteins, we have the physics laws, we have the chemistry laws, but we don't know what the questions are. And the questions are what geniuses and genius prize is about. It's not so much the answer. That's the second step. So the first step can't have the second step. And that's what the Genius and Trll Legacy Prize is about. And IBM Research, David Turek, Kronstadt, Deneau, Paul Horn, all those other people I worked with for briefly. And IBM Jeopardy supercomputer is debuting in February on ABC TV to be humanity's best. This is the answer. What is the question? That's the question that scientists have always been asking. They always ask the wrong questions, solve the problem, but it doesn't really solve the problem. The question doesn't hit the nail on what the question is to the answer. So the answer is what we have in our hands, the proteins, the DNAs, the physics laws. And the question is, how do we get from A to Z? We have the Z, the answer. We need to know what the right question, and then deduct down the deduction tree. So IBM Jeopardy computer once perfected for English processing, natural language, and mathematical processing. Well, giving it the question, the answer, and then it will give you the question. Then humanities scientists Steve Shaw, Alan Guth, Mr. Huth at Harvard Physics, CERN Reactors, and CW funding Charles Bukowski, and Bob Galucci himself at McCarthy Foundation, who's just geniuses that don't say these things. Ask the right question. The right question is that IBM Jeopardy will answer all these questions once it's perfected. And then humanity can then find out how it got from the question to the answer that will hold the science in our hands. Tell Bob Galucci that's what the Trll Legacy Prize this fall is about, and it should not fail, and shake up its executive committees, boards, and committee members, along with Murray Gilman and Ellis Bissett, AG of Whitehouse2. Tell Mr. Obama that. Now, here are some supporting evidences.